What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews and putting out a quick one today. I got a couple of looks from each game from this upcoming two-game slate. We're kicking it off with the USA versus Puerto Rico. Now, USA gunning for the top seed, which means they face the weakest team, the third-place teams in the knockout stage. Pretty sure they'll do it. They've got a pretty good. They only have to win this game by like 4 points or more to secure that. USA have been cruising, whilst the Puerto Ricans have been the worst performing team in this tournament. Outside of the talent gap, there's a massive edge to the Americans on the inside. One thing to note, betting player props on this US team is tough as fuck. Steve Kerr doesn't have set rotations. They have too many stars. They're building their offense around LeBron so he can get his numbers. And sometimes they play with their food a little bit. So it can be a little bit difficult. The spread in this game is like 35.5, which I think is ludicrous. I know Puerto Rico has been bad, but shit, we'll see what happens. So I did scan the market. As I said, it is a difficult one to really predict, but I'm here to share with you some of my thoughts. Firstly, on a value play. So if you've been staying close to the Olympics, you'd know that in the last game, this man, Christopher Ortiz, went absolutely crazy. His line opened up at 6.5 in this game. It's now moved to 7.5. And why was that? So he scored 19 points in 30 minutes in that last game against Serbia. Massive blowout. So you saw massive opportunity, his shot attempts, his minutes, everything was really high. The massive outlier. And chances are it happens again. It's another blowout, most likely on the cards here from the US team. And someone like Chris Ortiz is someone who can take advantage of that. He's a 6'8" forward, so he's not lacking in size. Whereas Jose Alvarado, Tremont Waters, both guards who shut out against Serbia, chances are they get shut out again. So I know a lot of people are probably going to be looking at Christopher Ortiz to take his over 7.5 points. And I honestly think it's a good play. 6.5 is good too, but 7.5 at plus 100 is a decent play as well. The way that I would honestly look at it, there's some value happening. Taking for 10 and 15 points, plus 215 and plus 1,000. I might have a look at that. We'll see. But if there's going to be a blowout, which is highly likely, Chris Ortiz at 6'8", if he's getting it 25 to 30 minutes, and Alvarado and Waters don't get as much time, I think this looks like money. So Christopher Ortiz is the first pick that I would strongly get you guys to consider. Outside of that, I'm not loving too much here for the Puerto Ricans. I'd like to take Jose Alvarado's unders, but it's down to 15.5. He has scored 20-plus points against some good teams before, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go well under. Same as Tremont Waters. I'd like to fade them both, given that the blowout's likely to happen. But like I said, US, they play with their food sometimes, so not ready to dance with the devil. Talking about the US team, got a couple different looks here. Not sure which way I'm going to land, but I think there's a nice angle. The one thing to think about, firstly, is that this US team, their rotations are all over the place. We saw Jason Tatum didn't play in game one. Then Joel Embiid got the DNP in game two. Both of those players I expect are getting a run in this game. So who's going to be the odd man out? Who's going to miss some time in this third game? Well, we know Drew Holiday is questionable given an ankle injury. AD got hurt in the last game, but he practiced. He's fine. Derek White hurt his back, but he practiced, so he's fine. So tough to know who's going to lose some time here. But the player that I'm looking at is Steph Curry. Looking at taking his under 11.5 points or his under 2.5 3-pointers made. Let me have a look at the odds for his threes made. Minus 105 for the threes made. So could be looking at that for Steph Curry. Steph Curry has struggled in this Olympics. He is up against a Puerto Rican team that is extremely soft inside. And it leads me to believe that a large scoring output from Steph's not going to be required in this one. For anyone who attacks the basket or people who catch it down low, they're the players who are most likely to score points against this team. Bombs from deep from Steph Curry, not going to be required unless he starts fucking around and putting it up from half court. Now, Steph Curry also leads the team in minutes played after 2 games. And I think that the Americans are going to give some of these old legs a rest in preparation for the knockout stages. It could also be the last series where Halliburton gets to see some minutes. Not series, last game where Halliburton gets to see some minutes. Steve Kerr might be nice and give him an extended run, meaning someone like Steph Curry could probably get a bit of a break in this one. But looking at fading Steph, it's a risky thing to do. It's going to be an unpopular pick, I know, but that's one way that my mind is going. The other players I considered fading LeBron James because I always do. But looking at his under in points, maybe his PRA. But at the same time, I feel like there's stat pattern Mr. LeBron James this Olympics to get some more awards and accolades. I can feel it in my waters. And in a blowout, I still feel like he can get a run. He's the only guy who doesn't do load management, really. So I don't want to fade him. Well, I do want to fade him. I just don't think it's a smart play to make. Kevin Durant's been on an absolute heater from the bench. He's been efficient as hell. I think someone like Anthony Edwards could get a nice run. He's a young bull. There's no rest in Anthony Edwards. He can get a lot of shots up. Anthony Davis, that's somebody else I thought about fading, taking his under in points, under in rebounds. The only concern I have is that the Puerto Ricans are really soft inside. I know Embiid is back, but Anthony Davis would most likely be the guy to see less time. I think Bam Adebayo continues to keep playing because he's killing it. Anthony Davis, they got a bit of a scare in that last game with an injury. So taking Anthony Davis unders was also on my mind as well. The last thing I was considering playing is LeBron under 6.5 assists and then over in his turnovers again. I ran that parlay last time, which cashed, but I don't think Lightning's going to strike twice on that one. So just a couple thoughts on this Puerto Rican versus the US game. Let's jump into the next one. It's Serbia versus South Sudan. Now, both teams, they're 1-1 in the group stage, and the winner guarantees a spot in the knockouts. Given the point differential here, though, if South Sudan loses, they're most likely out, whereas Serbia, they can still lose this game and still move forward in this competition. Now, I've got two different picks that I want to share with you all, which I don't think you're going to see anywhere else, but let's just talk about it for a second. I'm looking at steals and I'm looking at turnovers in this game. And why am I doing that? Well, one, Nikola Jokic. Let's talk about his steals first. Over 1.5 steals. So he's averaging 3 steals per game. He has the highest steals average of all players in this tournament. The matchup is perfect given South Sudan. They turn the ball over more than any other team. So there's a whole lot of turnovers from Sudan. And Nikola Jokic leads the whole tournament in getting some steals. The odds for it aren't terrific, so you probably have to parlay it with something. But if you could find this on any of your DFS apps, I think Nikola Jokic to get over 1.5 steals is a great look. The other play that I'm looking at kind of correlates well to this. So I might even parlay these together, and it's in regards to turnovers. I'll be looking at Wenyen Gabriel over 2.5 turnovers. Now, this man is all hustle, and he's a machine when it comes to turning the ball over. Check this out. Through 2 games in this tournament, he leads the whole tournament, even though some teams have played 3 games already. He leads the whole tournament with 13 turnovers. That's 6.5 turnovers per game. So up against Nikola Jokic and the Serbian team, I think the turnovers will continue to be there because the Sudanese team is going to keep playing hard. It's going to result in some errors, maybe an offensive foul or 2 for Wenyen Gabriel, who'll go over somebody's back to get some rebounds, whatever it takes. But 2.5 turnovers for Wenyen Gabriel is what I'm looking at. I could parlay these 2 things together. Jokic over in steals, Gabriel over turnovers. I'm trying to avoid doing some parlays at the moment because it's been kicking my ass. But those are 2 different looks that I already have for this particular game. Looking at some other players and some considerations. Well, Nikola Jokic, 18.5 points is his line. His rebound line's at 9.5, and his assist line is at 7.5. So all of these are real high, and he's good enough to get them. I'm just not man enough to take that bet. Other bet on through this tournament from Serbia, Filip Petrusev, managed to pick him to have a monster game when he did, but he's pretty up and down. And for this particular matchup, the Sudanese team does have some size, athleticism. I don't know if he's the right player for this one. So it's difficult to say who's going to score some points from Serbia, even though I know that they will. Looking at assists, Karlik Jones, he's somebody else that I've considered. His points and his assist numbers are pretty consistent. So if you're looking at consistency, a player that I can probably see myself running is for Karlik Jones. If you can run a same game parlay of 15 points and 5 assists, perhaps, I think that'd be about -110. Let me just build that real quick. It's exactly -110. Karlik Jones, 15 points and 5 assists. He's covered this in 3 straight games. So that's another look if you're looking for something a little bit safer. But they're going to be scanning the board after I've uploaded this video to find where the massive value is. Throughout this Olympics, you found there's a lot of no-name guys. The lines are somewhat conservative based on averages. Where we've seen every single game, somebody absolutely stands out in a good way or a bad way. And I think that offers tremendous value when it comes to betting. So I'll be doing a deep dive to find where that value is. And what I do, for everyone who's subscribed to my Winnable, you shall see it. So it's a pretty quick one from me. There's nothing too obvious on the board right now, so I don't want to overdo it, go crazy. The more analysis I tend to do, the more picks I end up finding, which does get a little bit risky, but not looking to force anything on this set of Olympic games. Maybe we'll see a lot more in the knockout stage. Who knows? But please, if you made it this far, like the video, let me know what you think. Drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because your boy's getting busy. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.